The chosen one. Everyone wants you. You are not an ordinary person. You have a power that is impossible to ignore, shaped by the special touch of destiny, shaking everywhere with its energy. People not only see you, but also feel you. You change the energy of every environment you enter, whether you realize it or not. Your presence is a question echoing in their minds, an attraction they cannot suppress in their hearts. Everyone wants you, but no one has easy access. Because you are not a simple prize, you are not someone who can be won just by wanting. Your existence is a test, a challenge. Everyone who sees you, who feels you, either has to discover themselves or run away from you. But even the one who runs away inwardly turns round and looks again. Your light challenges the shadows. Your presence unmasks others. For the continuation of this, write 77 in the comments immediately. Many want you, but few deserve you. And that's why you can't get out of their minds. You are a force they never expected, undeniable, magnetic, and impossible to ignore. Every movement, every unspoken gesture holds a weight they cannot shake. They study you, not with intention, but out of necessity, as if understanding you is the only way to keep themselves steady. But restraint is their armor, a fragile shield against the pull that draws them closer with each passing moment. They stand at a distance, waiting for a sign, battling a war within, a war between desire and discipline, between instinct and control. The longer they resist, the more the air between you tightens, charged with everything left unsaid. There's a current that lingers, an invisible thread stretching between every glance, every breath. They wish it were different, wish they could dismiss it as fleeting, but the weight of it sinks deeper, making its home in the spaces they refuse to acknowledge. They tell themselves it's nothing, but their body betrays the truth, the subtle shifts, the lingering hesitation, the way their pulse reacts before they can stop it. It's inescapable. The awareness of you settles into their bones, an echo they cannot silence, a presence that alters the very atmosphere around them. Logic offers no escape, no easy resolution. They have known attraction before, but this is something else entirely, something unrelenting, something that shakes the foundation of who they are. It is not just want, it is recognition, as though they have stumbled upon something that was never meant to be ignored. It is unfamiliar, overwhelming, and undeniable, stirring up questions they do not know how to answer. They hold themselves together with measured words, calculated movements, but beneath the surface, the storm builds. The battle is silent, but brutal. Temptation is a shadow in every shared space, a whisper in every exchange. They resist, not because the feeling isn't real, but because it is far too real. Every fiber of their being urges them forward, yet they fight to stay still, to maintain the boundaries they have set. They avoid looking too long, standing too close, giving too much away. But even as they pull back, the energy between you remains, a quiet force pressing against the walls they have built, testing the limits of their resolve. And yet, even as they retreat, they are always there, just within reach, but never crossing the line. They move carefully, keeping a safe distance, pretending this weight between you does not exist. But it does. It always has. You feel it, the presence lingering at the edges of every moment, the silent acknowledgement of what they refuse to act upon. It's in the way they hesitate before speaking, the way their breath catches when your paths align, the way they grip control with white-knuckled determination. They tell themselves they can endure it, that they can hold steady in the face of it. But deep down, they know the truth. This is not something that fades, not something that can be ignored. It lingers, woven into every moment, every choice. They do not move closer, but they do not leave. And that, more than anything, is what gives them away. You are a storm they never saw coming, silent, powerful, and utterly consuming. They steal glances when they think no one is watching, but when your eyes lock, they retreat as if they've brushed against something electrified. Their words are measured, their tone composed, but underneath it all, something simmers, an unbearable tension they struggle to contain. Control is their fortress, their last line of defense against the chaos you bring. Yet every second near you chips away at the walls they so carefully built. They are losing ground, losing certainty, losing themselves to something they never anticipated. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. Every moment around you is a test of their restraint, a tightrope walk between what they want and what they fear. They stay close enough to feel your presence, but never close enough to touch. A breath away, a fraction of space separating what could be from what is. Fingers twitch, lips part, but hesitation wins every time. Because to move forward, to reach, to surrender, would mean unraveling everything they thought they knew. So they hold back, not because they want to, but because they have to. Yet their silence betrays them. No matter how carefully they move, their body speaks the truth. The subtle shift in their stance, the quickened breath when you step near, the unguarded flicker in their gaze before they force it away. They thought they could control this, thought they could mold desire into something predictable, manageable. But you are not a fleeting attraction, not a momentary indulgence. You are the unknown, the uncharted, the force they cannot tame. And now they stand at the edge of a choice they never expected to face. You are not easily won. You do not yield to longing glances or the weight of unspoken confessions. Your presence is not a prize handed out to those who simply wanted enough. They are learning, slowly, painfully, that proximity does not grant access. You set the terms, you draw the lines, and they have no choice but to abide. They do not push, not because they lack the desire, but because they understand the truth. You are not someone to be taken. You are someone to be earned. This lesson is not an easy one. They are accustomed to certainty, to control, to bending reality to their will. But here, none of those things apply. You do not bend. You do not break. And that is what undoes them. Because the more unwavering you stand, the more they want to step closer, not to claim, not to take, but to be allowed in. But permission is not given lightly, and so they wait, hands clenched, breathing shallow, torn between stepping forward and staying still. Their world was steady before you. Their path was clear, their purpose defined. And then you arrived, and suddenly, nothing made sense anymore. They tell themselves it's nothing, that the way their chest tightens when they see you is a passing sensation, a fleeting thought. But the lie does not hold, because even in your absence, you remain, a shadow in their thoughts, a presence in the spaces they try to fill with distractions. You are the thought that lingers, the ache that will not fade. Distance does not diminish what has been set in motion. Even if they turn away, even if they walk in the opposite direction, the truth remains unchanged. No matter how much they resist, no matter how tightly they hold onto the illusion of control, the undeniable reality is this: you have altered them. They can try to silence it, try to bury it, try to convince themselves it was never real. But the universe does not let them forget. And deep down, neither do they. There's only so much restraint a person can hold before it unravels. They have spent endless moments gripping their composure, convincing themselves that discipline is enough to keep them steady. But cracks are forming, and the inevitable is near. You can sense it, the weight of their resolve slipping, the moment when hesitation won't be enough to keep them from acting. A touch that lingers when it should have been fleeting. A word spoken without thought, breaking through the walls they swore to maintain. They know what's coming, and so do you. The choice was never truly theirs, not from the moment you entered their world. Every step away has only been a delay, an attempt to escape the reflection staring back at them. This was never about you. It was about what you represented. You are a catalyst, a force that exposes every hidden insecurity, every buried fear, every truth they weren't ready to confront. They aren't running from you. They're running from the depth of their own emotions, from the reality that you've made impossible to ignore. Imagine a golden sunrise, breaking over a vast, open plain, each ray a reminder that every day is a fresh blessing, handpicked for those who have been called to a higher purpose. In that sacred light, you are the chosen, a beacon of hope and strength, destined to guide hearts through the shadows. Now consider this. The moment comes suddenly, like a door flung open in a quiet chapel, revealing a truth that was always meant to be seen. Then the shift comes, abrupt and hollow. The space they once occupied now lies vacant, their presence dissipating like a whispered prayer that slowly fades into the stillness of an early morning. No comforting words follow, no tender reassurance to mend the silence that now envelops the room. Instead, they retreat into a realm of cold logic, clinging desperately to the illusion of self-mastery. They convince themselves that distancing, that withdrawing, is a noble act of protection, a way to guard against the overwhelming tide of emotions that threatens to drown them. But if you look deeper, you know the truth. This retreat is not about keeping you safe. It is a desperate attempt to shield themselves from being overwhelmed by forces far greater than their control. They have long held on to self-restraint, as if it were the only lifeline preventing them from spiraling into a passion that could consume every fiber of their being. Their grip on discipline is firm, yet every moment in your radiant presence weakens that resolve. The spark of temptation, ignited by your mere proximity, grows into an uncontrollable blaze that burns away the remnants of their carefully built defenses. They stand at the precipice, teetering between the familiarity of their guarded world and the unknown, vibrant realm of genuine connection that you represent. This is not a battle fought on a physical front, but a war waged within the confines of the soul. Every glance exchanged with you, every silent moment charged with unspoken meaning, chips away at the walls they have erected. They try to hold back, believing that the distance they create is enough to protect them from the raw, unfiltered truth of their longing. But the truth, like a relentless current, seeps in, dissolving the barriers of their carefully maintained composure. You are not merely an object of desire. You are the divine reminder of all that is possible when one surrenders to life's grand design. They see in you a reflection of what they have always yearned for, a life of abundance, of spiritual awakening, and of unapologetic truth. And yet the very thought of embracing this possibility terrifies them. The risk of opening their heart is too great, for they fear that if they allow themselves to feel fully, they might lose the semblance of control they so desperately cling to. In their struggle, there is a poignant moment, a fleeting instance when the tension in the air is almost palpable. A gesture almost made, a word nearly spoken, hints at the power of their suppressed emotions. But then, as if in a sudden bout of clarity, they pull back. The very act of nearing you becomes a trial by fire, one that could reduce them to ashes if they dare to let go of their guarded ways. And so, they retreat again into the sanctuary of logic, into a fortress built of reason and a facade of calm that conceals the storm raging within. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. There comes a moment, a turning point, when the weight of their inner turmoil becomes too heavy to bear. It is as if the universe itself has orchestrated this test, a moment where the line between self-preservation and self-destruction blurs. In that critical juncture, they must choose, continue to hide behind a veil of detachment, or step forward into the light, risking everything for a chance at true, transformative love. The choice, though seemingly simple, carries the burden of a lifetime. They have convinced themselves for so long that distancing themselves is the only path to safety, yet in doing so, they inadvertently trap themselves in a prison of their own making. The transformation is not instantaneous. It is a gradual awakening, a slow peeling away of the layers of fear and uncertainty. With every silent heartbeat, every faltering step away from the temptation of closeness, they learn a painful but invaluable lesson. It is a lesson in the power of vulnerability, in the courage required to confront one's own limitations. In their eyes, you are not a fleeting fancy to be indulged. You are a profound calling, a test of their ability to rise above the mundane and embrace the extraordinary. As the minutes tick by, the space where they once stood becomes a testament to the battle waged between the head and the heart. Their withdrawal is not a sign of indifference, but rather a desperate bid for self-preservation, a way to keep the tumult of their inner world from spilling over and overwhelming them. Yet, this very act of self-protection is a double-edged sword. For in choosing isolation, they risk losing the chance to experience a love that could heal and elevate them beyond measure. The idea of self-control, so highly prized in their mind, is now revealed to be an illusion, a fragile barrier that cannot withstand the force of genuine emotion. It is not about keeping you at a distance. It is about keeping the darkness within at bay. They do not retreat because they wish to harm you, but because they fear the transformation that may come from allowing themselves to be seen, truly seen, by another soul. In this quiet moment of reckoning, you become more than just a presence in their life. You become a mirror reflecting back every hidden flaw and every unspoken desire. Their attempt to shield themselves, to wrap themselves in the safety of control, only magnifies the deep, aching need for connection that pulses at the core of their being. The space left by their absence is not empty. It is filled with the silent testimony of dreams deferred and potential unfulfilled. There is an undeniable truth here. True strength is not found in maintaining distance or in clinging to an unyielding facade of rationality. True strength is found in the willingness to take a step into the unknown, to risk everything for the sake of embracing the fullness of life. And though they may falter, even the smallest step forward carries with it the promise of renewal, a promise that the power of love, when embraced, can transform the most hardened of hearts. The call to courage is not a whisper in the wind. It is a resounding declaration from deep within, a divine summons to rise above the fear of vulnerability and to embrace the truth of one's own heart. It is in that moment of quiet surrender, when the weight of the past is finally released, that the soul can begin to soar free. The journey is fraught with uncertainty, yet it is also brimming with the potential for miracles, for healing, and for the kind of transformation that only the most courageous souls dare to undertake. Look around you. The beauty of life is all around, waiting patiently for those who are bold enough to claim it. Just as the dawn breaks and chases away the lingering shadows of night, so too does the promise of a new beginning shine forth when one decides to let go of the chains of fear. In that sacred decision lies the power to heal, to grow, and to discover a truth that is far greater than any illusion of control. So, when that pivotal moment arrives, when the burden of holding back becomes too heavy to bear, remember this: stepping forward is not an act of weakness, but of profound strength. It is an embrace of the divine potential that resides within you, a recognition that life's most precious gifts are found not in the safety of isolation, but in the open, vulnerable space of genuine connection. They may think that by retreating into the comforts of routine and reason, they are protecting themselves, but in truth, they are only keeping themselves locked away from the vibrant, transformative power that lies in embracing love fully. Their logic may offer a semblance of order in a chaotic world, but it cannot hold back the flood of emotion that arises when the heart is finally allowed to speak its truth. The sanctuary of self-control, built so carefully over the years, begins to crumble under the pressure of an undeniable, life-altering revelation. In the quiet spaces between thought and feeling, there is a stirring, a gentle, insistent call to let go of the reins and allow life to flow in its most natural, unencumbered form. This call is a reminder that every moment of hesitation, every instance of holding back, is a missed opportunity to experience the fullness of what it means to be truly alive. And so, as the morning light grows stronger and the world around you awakens to a new day, the choice becomes ever more clear. The sanctuary of control, no matter how carefully maintained, is no match for the raw, transformative power of love and faith. It is not about shielding oneself from potential harm. It is about having the courage to embrace the possibility of healing, of growth, and of redemption. In this grand tapestry of life, every soul is called to make a choice to rise above the fears that bind them, to step beyond the narrow confines of what they have known, and to walk boldly into the light of a new day. It is a call that resonates deep within, stirring the embers of hope and igniting a passion that can change everything. Even when the darkness seems overwhelming, even when the weight of past disappointments threatens to drag one back into the shadows, there remains an unwavering truth. You are destined for greatness, and your story is far from over. Let this be a testament to the power of renewal, a declaration that every setback is merely a setup for an even greater comeback. The journey toward embracing the divine potential within is not always easy, but it is always worth it. With every step taken in faith, with every moment of vulnerability shared, the soul becomes stronger, more resilient, more attuned to the beauty of a life lived without fear. Picture a mighty oak standing proud in a sunlit clearing, its roots deep in rich soil and its branches open wide like a welcoming sanctuary from life's storms. This ancient tree, a creation of divine design, reminds us that we too are planted with purpose and nurtured by a loving hand. Remember, dear friend, that the greatest triumphs are born from the courage to stand in the light, to release the safety nets that no longer serve, and to open your heart completely to the abundant wonders of existence. Every step you take in faith is guided by a promise of renewal, a constant reminder that when you leave behind the familiar chains of fear and doubt, you step into a realm where hope is endless and joy is within reach. The path may be steep and the climb arduous, but the view from the summit is breathtaking, a vista filled with promise, bathed in the warmth of grace and alive with the possibility of everyday miracles. As you journey onward, let the strength of this oak inspire you to trust that every challenge you encounter is a stepping stone to a brighter tomorrow. Embrace each new dawn as a gift, knowing that the Creator's loving guidance is with you every moment, urging you to rise above adversity and bask in the glory of a life filled with purpose and prosperity. Stand firm in your faith and let your heart overflow with gratitude for the abundant blessings that surround you. For in every trial lies an opportunity to grow, to transform, and to experience the miraculous work of a compassionate and ever-present God. With every sunrise, know that you are renewed, empowered, and destined for greatness, walking a path illuminated by divine love and the promise of everlasting hope. This is the moment when the old ways must be left behind, a moment when the spirit, like a soaring eagle, spreads its wings and takes flight. It is not a departure from who you are, but an embrace of who you were always meant to become. In that decisive moment, when you choose to walk into the light with unwavering faith, you unlock a power far greater than any force that seeks to hold you back. So as you stand at this crossroads, hear the gentle murmur of your heart and let it guide you to a place where love reigns supreme. Let your soul be nourished by the warmth of a new dawn, and know that every step forward is a victory over the limitations of the past. Today is not just another day, it is a sacred opportunity to embrace the fullness of life, to experience the transformative power of love, and to step boldly into a future filled with promise and hope. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide your path. May you find the strength to leave behind the confines of self-imposed restraint and may you discover the boundless potential that lies within. For in the end, it is not about the walls we build around ourselves, but the bridges we dare to cross in pursuit of a love that transcends all understanding, a love that heals, empowers, and ultimately sets us free. Distance is a deception they cling to, believing that if they step far enough away, they can sever what was never meant to be broken. But space does not erase truth. It lingers, settling into quiet moments, creeping into dreams, reminding them that no matter how far they run, the pull remains. They tell themselves that time will dilute this, that detachment will bring relief. But there is no peace in avoidance, no relief in denial, because the struggle was never with you, it was within them. The war they fight is against their own reflection, against the knowledge that you are not just a fleeting desire, but a confrontation with everything they lack, everything they refuse to face, everything they cannot escape. The real question was never about distance. It was about survival, not in the sense of enduring without you, but in whether they can truly live while pretending this connection never existed.